Alright, so this morning I woke up and see that I'd gained quite a few new subscribers. So I thought, what better way to welcome them than to do a tutorial. Now, as usual, it is a first person tutorial. It's kind of like my favourite things to do on trials. So we're going to get straight into it. Basically what I'm going to show you is, I'm going to show you how to build an action button and to pick up and drop objects. So let's get started. First off, I'll show you an action button to open a door. So we're going to build the door quick. Just make it out of this. That's a pretty big door. So you something to put on the side. This is just so we can glue these two objects together and take the pivot. If we just do this on the line, you select the pivot and bring it to this side of the door. So if I rotate on this axis, it's going to do that like a door would. So let me just quickly set the door up. I'm not going to go into too much detail how to do this. You can look for yourselves. It's not that difficult. If you don't know how to use object position events, I think I do have a video showing you a little bit about it. Pardon me. Right, so I've got my door set up and ready to go. Basically what I've got here is an interval trigger, an object position event and a curved data source, and what it's essentially doing is it's changing the pitch of this object to 87 or 90, you know, a 90 degree angle is sort of what a door opens, but I like to take it a little bit down just so it doesn't look like it's completely straight. So if I press select, you get that, the door opening up. What we want to do is make that so it's a button input. So I'm going to turn these two off. We're going to get out a state event. That's going to be turning those on. We're going to want your action button. For me, I personally take out the jump and I use Y. So we're going to use that. And you're also going to want an area trigger. Now we'll start with the area trigger first. This is going to be the area that you're in when the button's able to be pressed. So obviously you can't press the Y button from down the bottom of the map and open the door from the other side of the map. So what you want to do is you want to go trigger by, take these off, and the instance is the chrome ball. So you select that. Just so the trigger is triggered by that. Take the size up a little bit. However, usually you're going to want it about as wide as the door, just so you can press it anywhere through the door. Grab your state event. I'm going to copy this one because we're going to need one up there as well, and have one on and one off, and attach both of these to the Y button, and then the Y button needs to be turned off. Right, so in your trigger again, you're going to want to go down to this, disable after hit, and uncheck that. And then in advanced events, on active, it's going to be on, and on inactive, it's going to be off. So the whole time that no one's in that trigger, this is going to be off, but as soon as someone enters that trigger, it turns it on. So very simple. This is the action button done already. On press, straight to this state event, and this state event goes to this and this. In fact, I don't even think you need to turn this. I'm not 100% sure, I just do it anyway. But anyway, let's test that out. And you'll see as soon as I walk up the door, I hit Y, bang, the door opens. Very simple, very good effect. You can use it for a lot of stuff. I've used it in a couple of games that I haven't actually published yet, but it's in there. So next, it's a very similar process to picking up objects and dropping objects, but it requires a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all this, and then we'll be back and we'll start on that one. Okay, so I've deleted everything. I've kept this because this is going to be exactly the same, but we're going to need to add something to our character now. And what this is where the object will be when you pick it up. So you want to get yourself a dummy object. This is exactly where this is going to be the position of the object when you pick it up. So you want to put it kind of wherever you want, but kind of not. Just going to want it about, you know, a little bit in front of the camera, about there. Turn the physics on. Maybe that might be a little bit too far away, we don't know, we'll have to check that. And then simply glue that together with a point to point. Glue it to the camera. So that this camera and this. Disable the collision, put the joint strength right up, and now this dummy object, yeah, this will follow me around wherever I move my character. Right, so then you're going to want to get out well, first let's get out an object that we're going to pick up. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this little wooden box. And then we're going to get out the necessary things we need. So first we need interval trigger, object position event, a vector object info. So put this out. If you don't have the Trials Evolution DLC, which in all honesty you should, because it's cheap and it gets you a lot of new stuff, you can always use these instead. And you just copy these out like that, position X, Y and Z. The only thing with the new Trials DLC is it gives you all of those in one instead of the free, so it makes it a lot easier for you. So I'm going to use these ones for this, or this one, sorry. So your object will be the dummy object, and just link this up down to one tick, attach it to the object position event, uncheck the local box, and positions X, Y and Z will all go to this. So all I've done is I've pressed Y on all of these and selected the vector object info data source. Same with the other three things I showed you. You know, you just put them to their corresponding data sources. And then, sorry, I forgot to do this. Then you have to attach the target to the box. So now, if I just press select, it will go straight to the position we set. So obviously, we don't want that. We want to take this interval trigger off, and that will stop that from doing that. Very similar with the last thing, but what we're going to do now is we're going to take one of these hit triggers, and you want to, sorry, area trigger, you want to size it down so it's just a bit bigger than the box you're using. So maybe that's even a little bit too big. Size it down so it just goes around the box like that. Then turn the physics on. I believe that is, yeah. That's all for that. Then glue it together with a point to point. Point to point hard. Select the box. I might have to pull this up. Yeah, I'm going to have to pull this up to get to that. Select the box and the trigger. Disable collision and max strength. So then this means wherever you drop this box, the trigger will stay with it, so you can pick it back up. So it's pretty much the same thing. I'm just copying this out. When you press it, it will turn it on. So on press, we'll be turning this on. So let's give that a test, even though we're only going to be able to pick it up. Just want to make sure it works. I'm pretty sure it will. So as soon as I press Y, we've picked the box up. And then essentially what we need to happen is we need this to delay off. So we're going to get ourselves a delay filter and attach this to this. It only has to be a very short time. We're going to need another Y button. Take that on and press off. Sorry. And another state event to the Y. So it's essentially going to be like that. And this state event here, the one that's turning it all on, take the filter off, switch it off, and put it up here. So essentially what's going to happen is, once you press that button, it's going to turn it on and pick up the object. It's going to delay off for a very short time. This is only so that the buttons don't register at the same time, otherwise it wouldn't work, because you'd be turning it on and off at the same time. It's only a little short amount of time, however much you want, and delay to this, which will go to this. Now you also need to delay it again in order to, we need to turn this, so change your target to this. We need to turn this off after we've pressed that button, so we can pick it back up. Looks a little bit, well, I suppose it's not really that confusing. Let's just go ahead and test this out. I think I've done everything right. I hope I've done everything right. So we should be able to pick it up and, wow, I know I have done something wrong. Now you can either, for this I'm just going to do this. Oh, I nearly had it then. Sometimes you can still grab it. It is lighting up slightly. Oh fuck it. I'll just move out of the way. The physics obviously needs to be turned on. You can either switch this, so the physics are not on until you pick the object up, which will mean just putting it in here. So on press, it will turn that on, filter to a physics, turning the physics on, and then filter to the delay. It's also another thing I want to do, depending on how big your object is. We'll go through that in a minute. Let's just test this quickly. So I press Y to pick it up, and I press Y to drop. I press Y to pick it up. Yeah, it's all working perfect. Okay, so one more thing. If I was to change this object with something bigger, the contact response would get in the way with the character and stop him from being able to walk properly. So what you can do is, when you pick the object up, you can take the contact response off, and when you put it back down, it comes back on. And the way you do this is you grab yourself a variable data source and you attach the contact response of the box. So you go into the box's properties, advanced physics, go down to contact response or physics type, and attach it with Y to the variable data source. Now because this is on 0, this is how you change options during the game, by the way. Because this is on 0, it means it's on the default physics type, the one it was already on. So if we add 1 to that, it means it will be on contact response, so even if it's invisible, it will still have contact response. And if we add another 1, so make this number 2, it'll have no contact response. So see, if I press select, that will just fall straight through the ground. So what we essentially need is, when you press this button, so I'm going to do this now, when you press the button, you're going to want, let's just move this filter to the delay and move this filter to the set value event. So now it's going down and up there. Just doesn't look very good. your target will be this variable data source, and you'll have this set to 2. So when you pick the object up, it's going to take off contact response, and when you drop the object, so we're going to copy this out, put that back to 0, take that filter off, and add that filter to there, add this filter to there. So now what's happening, well, I'll show you. It's easier if I show you. I don't think I'll put the trigger back into the place of the box, so we're going to move around here. So once I've got this box, I have no contact response. So you can go through anything, which I feel like is the best way of doing it. You'll only glitch yourself up if you try and keep the contact response on. And then as soon as I go to drop it, it comes back on again. The only problem with this, which I can't see anyone doing that anyway, because they'll obviously know it's a glitch, but if you put it in the ground first, you know, and then drop the object, obviously it's going to fall through or just go crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics of it. I mean, add whatever you want into this. You can even add in a sound, so every time you pick it up it makes a sound, or every time you drop it it makes a sound. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot you can't do with this, really. Okay, so that's pretty much the basics. You can switch around, you know, and play around and change with whatever you want and add stuff in. I'm just going to show you a little example I've done here. So when I come up close to the gun, I've got a punching animation here, by the way. It's not the greatest, but if they had arms in this game, I'm sure I could make it a lot better. So when I come up to the gun, you notice that little Y pops up when I leave. That's just indicating that there is something to be pressed there. As soon as I press Y, I pick the gun up, and I've got my second gun. Also the same with this. Door switch. You know, stereo. I mean, there's so much you can do with this action button, and that's why I want to post another challenge similar to the plane one I did. I just want you to make a first-person game with as many of these action buttons and as many of objects that you can pick up as you can possibly stand to do. I want to be able to like pick up a certain object and take it somewhere else and place it down there in order to progress the level, you know, kind of make it like a puzzle game. But yeah, if you fancy doing that, let me know you're going to try it and keep me posted with the results in game. So cheers for watching. I'm going to have another tutorial up soon. I will definitely try and make this channel, but I'll try and take it a bit more seriously, upload regular videos. I will definitely bring back Skill Game Sunday for when the new DLC comes around, which is sometime this month. We don't know much about it, we just know what you know, the theme and stuff. I don't really know what you're getting with it. But yeah, thanks for watching anyway. Cheers, see you later.